somebody, let somebody go.
Hola. Bro. If that sign means anything to you, you're about ready to stab yourself in the eyes and the ears, because I can't even wear this right now. Like, here's the thing. There's a difference between myself and I think a lot of the Mariner fans that are out there right now and Yankee fans. If you look at Yankee fans, they find the copium. They find this coping mechanism to draw off of why they didn't get what they want, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is better. Like, we dodged a bullet." Mariner fans are not going to do that. As of right now, this offseason is a failure. I don't care who we trade for. I don't care who the Mariners trade for. Who are you going to trade for? Even if they sign Pete Alonso, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, what? Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. If you guys are watching right now, most likely you already know what's going on. So I'll go ahead and pull this up and we'll talk about it, because it's like a simultaneous wheel and deal from the Guardians. The Guardians did it again. They want to get back to the playoffs, and they found a way to shed payroll while also shitting on every dream that we had. It's in one day. And on top of that, there's just so much negativity today, and I'm trying to be positive. But hey, you're here with me, so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to pull up the comments because I know you guys are already saying stuff. Yeah, dude. It's a mess. So let's start with this. MLB trade rumors decided to report it is the Diamondbacks are acquiring Josh Naylor, who was just in the talks for the Mariners to be picking up in a possible trade, which made sense for the Mariners because they really do need a good first baseman. It's been a long time since they've had a real decent first baseman. Ty France did great, I believe, the 2023 season. And in 2022 wasn't too bad, but 2024, it was just a mess. It was just a disaster. You need something to fill that in. Second base has been a disaster too. So what was going to be the option? Well, Josh Naylor, as far as since we're not signing free agents, but yet we kept speculating that they would, I was thinking like, okay, yeah, he has a high chase rate, but you know what? He doesn't strike out, and he makes good contact. When he makes contact, he hits the ball hard. Well, he's gone. Diamondbacks acquire him, giving up, I should know this, Slade Sassoni. I know he's a right-handed pitcher for the Diamondbacks. I don't pay too much attention to him, but I know the Guardians needed some more bullpen help. This would be a good option. I think he can start as well. And then having the competitive balance round B draft pick, I just lets them build their team just as well, at least for the Guardians. And then the Diamondbacks get their first baseman, which replaces Christian Walker. He's not the same. He's not as good. I made a post on X saying that he was probably the perfect replacement. I say that with like a grain of salt on the side, because it's like he's not Christian Walker, but he's way younger, and you have a chance to extend him at the end of the year if he does well and he likes it in Arizona. I liked Arizona when I lived there, so I would like to think that Josh Naylor does. He has 1 year left in his contract, so they're paying for kind of like an extended rental at this point. So I don't think they're giving up too much. At least the Diamondbacks aren't. The Guardians capitalized. It works for them. They got a pitcher to add to their bullpen, which they needed, and I know they wanted, and they get a draft pick, which is great. That's something they really like to have. They're not a high roller team. So Josh Naylor will be playing at least for next year in Arizona, which is fine. Like, I like the D-backs. That's good for them. I like that. With all the hype around Seattle, no, it's terrible. It's stupid. It's frustrating. 243, 320, 456, 118 WRC plus, solid bat. Very good. I know he can do better. He probably will do better this coming season. I think he'll hit well in Arizona. I have no reason to believe that he won't. Granted, I know that they have like that wind tunnel thing over in Progressive Field. We'll see how much of that added a factor this last season. But he's 27. He's not 34. He is cheaper, clearly, than bringing back Christian Walker, even though I know people wanted him. I thought that they would go after Goldschmidt, bring him home, like sign him a long-term deal to be in Arizona. He's a fan favorite. I guess kind of like Mitch Haniger, this thing, but I would have more faith in Goldschmidt, performing in Arizona versus like the Mariners Mitch Haniger version, which was a disaster. There's a lot of Mariners reference here, obviously, because I'm hooked on that. And then simultaneously, the Guardians are like, all right, now we need a first baseman. I don't know why they said they needed one, because I thought Manzardo was going to be their first baseman, but they're like, now we're going to get a clubhouse guy who can be first base and DH. They can rotate. And they go out and get Carlos Santana, which is the number one guy that I think the Mariners were looking at in free agency. And I'm stupid enough to follow this because I, for some reason, fell for this idea that they're actually going to go for free agency. They mentioned in the beginning of the season they weren't going to go for free agents. That's not part of their plan. It's not a good way to build a team. Not a good philosophy to sign free agents. Okay. This is a pure rage stream at this point. Who's left? Josh Bell? Pete Alonso? He's not going to sign. He's cost too much. The Mariners aren't going to pick him up. When is he going to get signed? Why is nobody touching him? I mean, literally, who's left? Justin Turner? We're going to bring him back? Why haven't we? I mean, you literally don't have an option anymore. I don't think Josh Bell's a good fit. He's going to cost too much anyways. Pete Alonso is going to cost way too much. He's the high echelon that hasn't been touched. It's like all the middle guys are gone for first base. You have Josh Bell and Pete Alonso up here, and then you got Justin Turner and nobody. Unless you want Solano. Holy crap. What a day. What a day. And it's even worse because a legend passed away. Ricky Henderson passed away today, unfortunately. That's a big loss because it's like now we're starting to get to that generation where he was playing when I was a kid. So now it's not like legends way back. It's not just Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, all these players that we all know of as baseball fans. We're starting to lose guys that are like, they played in our lifetime when we were kids. That sucks. King of stealing bases, the speedy man. He played in a bunch of different teams. I would say mostly known for his time in Oakland. So rest in peace, Ricky. Man, that really sucks to lose somebody like that. It wasn't on my radar as far as him being sick or coming to an end or anything like that. So that surprised me. And then of course we get the double hit of Guardians picking up Santana, so he's gone, and Josh Naylor off the board. Um, I mean, oh, wow, it's been a wild 45 minutes. Put that out there right now. I mean, my entire feed is just Ricky Henderson posts from everywhere, and then everything after that is the Jeff Passan release of putting out the Guardians got Carlos Santana. So that's a 1-year, $12 million deal. So there's a chance after this that he could be available. But as far as my recollection goes, Carlos Santana started, I believe, with the Indians before there were this stupid team called the Guardians. And this might be him. This might be his homecoming because I believe he's 38 years old now. I don't know if it was mentioned in that, but it's a 1-year deal at 12 mil. That would be my big key understanding of why nobody else signed him and he's going back there, because 12 mil when I believe his market value was like 5.5, 6 mil for a year. I believe he's 39. I should really look this up. He's 38. He'll be 39 next year. This coming, so on April 8th, he'll be 39. So he has a 1-year deal. It's basically the same thing as like what Justin Turner did with his contract. Like it's just a 1-year deal. I don't know. Actually, no, he was on like a multi-year deal with the Jays, wasn't he? He was traded a bunch of times. It's hard for me to keep track. But rolling into his 39th, age 39 season, and he's going back to Cleveland. I'm assuming they're going to extend him if he performs like he did in Minnesota, because he performed really well in Minnesota last year, which is the reason why I was getting hyped. He had a 2.5 WAR, 23 home runs, 238 batting average. Well, he was hitting really well. OPS 109. That's not insanely great. It's a little bit lower than his career average, which is OPS plus is like 114. But like he is very much like it's slightly under, but at that age, he's producing, and he is a very good defensive glove over at first. So Guardians in a way, I think they got an upgrade for a season, especially since they are only going to have Josh Naylor for 1 more year anyways. So it's great for them. It's great for them. It's great for them. I don't know how else to put this. You know what? Let me see. Let me see if I can get some Diamondbacks. Let's get some Diamondbacks writers in here. You guys want me to add people? Let's do that. Give me 1 second. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit more in depth from a different perspective that's a little bit less biased from me. And he's not going to like it if he does. Come on, because I'm going to be complaining a lot at this point. Mariner fans who are watching this, what do you think? Like, am I overreacting? Non-Mariner fans, am I overreacting right now? Because I want to think that I'm overreacting. Everything's gonna be fine. I did like the emoji GIF thing is kind of my mental state of the dog in the burning building saying this is fine. That's where I'm at emotionally in this. Yeah, Diamondbacks fans, are you happy? Are any NL West and AL Central fans, how do you guys feel about this? Genuinely asking. Contribute. Tell me. Does it bother you? Do you care? I mean, who's your team? Maybe it doesn't affect you. If you're a White Sox fan, probably doesn't affect you. I mean, we all know there's a lot of work that needs to go in there. But Royals? Could this be something that could be detrimental? That's a big bat. I mean, they lost one, but they kind of gained one. Do you think it's a bigger threat for Josh Naylor to be there, or a bigger threat to have Carlos Santana there? Because you also had to deal with Carlos Santana with the Twins. Twins, what's going on? Didn't even try with Max Kepler. Now he is a Philly. Santana's gone. I know you guys are trying to sell a team, but I don't see any, like, who are the buyers, and are they excited for this? Or wouldn't they be like, hey, invest a little bit so that we have a good team to roll into 2025 with, if they are going to purchase the team? It's a couple brothers. I forgot their name, but that's still possibly going to happen. Just going to throw on my Diamondbacks hat, at least, to be more positive. Boy. Any more news? God, please, no more. So, yeah, the M's have 16 mil or so to spend in the offseason. Santana goes to the Guardians for 12. Okay, so let's say high end 16. That's still $4 million extra to get a cheap third base or second base. Like something. Or maybe they were in talks and he was just too much, and that's why there was no deal that was done. There's a strong possibility that this is what he was asking because of his performance last year, and that's the reason why it didn't work out, which I would understand. Like 16 mil means like you're only getting Santana this year. And I'm pretty sure the Mariners are doing everything that they possibly can to avoid trading any of their starting rotation. I just did a podcast yesterday. Colby from Locked On Mariners, and then also Gordo over at WEEI Radio in Boston, and we were talking about the Cassis and Castillo thing. And we all kind of came to the consensus that it was never going to happen in the first place. And then we think that there's a possibility that, this was all just set up to gain interest in players and see what feedback they can get, whether it was for Cassis or whether it was for Castillo. But I think the Mariners were never really interested. They were just putting a feeler out there to get talks going. I'm going to edit that after this, and we're going to put it out tomorrow, most likely now, because I'm doing this live stream. But man, that's wild. I wonder if let's take a look at, see if Fangraph's updated. Let's take a look at these rosters. We'll do Guardians first. Might as well. We'll do Guardians first, and then we'll end it with my Diamondbacks. Yeah, that's probably the smart way to do it. Right? That's the smart thing. All right, here we go. How's your guys' weekend going? Updated. Number 4. All right, Carlos Santana. So you got a switch hitter right after a switch hitter. This is projected. At your first base, Manzardo, DH, like I assumed. But it's just not a bad lineup. Juan Brito, a little questionable there. We'll see what happens. Bo and Hedges will probably switch back and forth. Neither one of them were excellent hitters last year. Bo was very much way less than what I would have expected him to do. They still made it to the playoffs. Rocchio going to sit down there at the 9th hole. That Jimenez drop really opened up the ability for them to sign Santana, and they have more money. So I don't think this is it for the Guardians. Even though they have added to their bullpen. I'm not even seeing him here. I mean, that's still good. Class A Smith Gaddis. That's a really good. I mean, Heron, he was really good at the very end of the season. Am I seeing this right? I mean, and then when Shane Bieber comes back, which he should be ready March, I would say, based on this number here. That's a good rotation. I mean, you got Ortiz, Gavin Williams, who did great. I guess I shouldn't say great. 4 point. At least when I watched him, he did really well. But Ortiz should do well there. McKenzie, I would expect to be. I don't know. He might swap out with Williams because as soon as Bieber comes back, that's going to be an insanely good rotation. But do they need Noel? Do they need Big Christmas down here? I understand he only batted 218, but he could slug. Maybe that's an option to move him because you got three first basemen here. Maybe they're going to make some more moves. You know, they have money they can take on, trade him for a big bat. Maybe even go out and get another second baseman because I don't know if you really want Juan Brito at your second base. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I mean, Schneemann, is that how you say his name? I know of him. He didn't do bad in the playoffs. Maybe that was his calling. But we'll see. Who the hell is that? Hold on. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Am I the only one that hasn't seen this yet? This is the I was like, what team is this? The Athletics, because they don't have a home. Wow. Another team that's looking really good. Gio Urshela going there. I mean, they're building up their pitching. Watch out for this team next year. I mean, Brent Rooker was great. Butler was great. JJ Bledede was good. Now they have a solid defensive third baseman who can hit consistently a 250 average. The fact that you're 8 and 9 is batting 250. You don't have to hit a lot of home runs. That's good. Sorry, let's get back on track. Arizona. That just threw me off. That was weird. All right, just double checking on some stuff. We got here. How does everything look? Josh Naylor, number 3. This is so weird. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Diamondbacks uniform. I was really expecting Goldschmidt. I really was expecting that. But now they got a younger guy. Probably can hit better. He can still produce bombs. Probably hit like 20 home runs, 24 home runs next year, if not more. So, I mean, and Pavin Smith is good. It's not looking too bad. Maybe it's bigger for you guys. Maybe I can. Nah, this is as big as it gets. All right. It's really not. It's not a bad lineup so far. Suarez is still there. Like, this lineup, the worst batter from last season by average. Is it really? It's Corbin Carroll. He's the worst, but he still hit 22 home runs, stole 35 bags at a 230 average, 231. Like, NL West is not a division to mess with. And now they filled that hole with first. Like, they don't really have any gaps. Gabriel Moreno is good defensively, and he batted pretty well last season after coming over from the Jays. You still have Blaze Anderson, Tim Tawa. If you guys watched that with Aaron when he came on, and we were talking about this team, like, this guy rakes in AAA. This is a good team. This is a really good team. Arizona should be excited. This is a big move. I'm probably going to watch more of them this year because I don't know. I truly don't know what the hell the Mariners are doing. I don't know if they're doing anything at all, to be honest with you. I don't know if they're going to do anything this offseason. Like, talk about like the biggest. Okay, here's my simile for what the Mariners have done so far. This is like taking you're a kid. Your parents take you to the mall and you go see Santa Claus. And Santa Claus says, "What do you want for Christmas?" And you say, "I want Christian Walker and Gleyber Torres, and I want Juan Soto, but I understand my parents can't afford him, so maybe you can get me Santander." Like, I would love it if I could have all of these things for Christmas, because I've been good all year and I've been patiently waiting and trying to be the best fan I possibly can. And Santa's like, "Okay, you know what? Well, let's talk about Santana. Let's talk about Christian Walker a little bit. Let's talk about Pete Alonso. Let's talk about Ha-Sung Kim and Hai-Sung Kim and Roki Sasaki and Tristan Casas." It's like, oh my God, like, that would be cool. Today is Christmas morning and you woke up with coal in your fucking stocking. That's what this feels like. That was very elaborate, but yeah. Brandon, what's up? I might get something on Christmas. Just don't know yet. Yeah. I don't know if I believe that. I know I'm bitter right now, but I don't know if I believe that. What would be cooking right now? At this point, what is worth Castillo? What would be acceptable for Castillo being traded? Because no other team sees Castillo having the value as what the Mariners will need in return for his trade to be worth an impact offensively. That's the key thing here. Like, trading away you have 5 guys on your rotation. 5. That's it. There's 5 players on a 40-man roster. You give up one of those guys when you have 7 holes offensively. Tell me what that return, who is going to give up that return in order to come to Seattle? And I don't see a single one, because I don't see a single team that would accept it. Well, you know what? As he disappears, hold on. I have someone who's going to jump in. We'll see what he has to say. Where you at, buddy? Aaron's probably going to jump in here with us. Got Mitch Garver last year. I don't know how long we got someone 2 years ago. I don't know how long. Rephrase that, bud. I don't know what you mean by that. Aaron, dude, come on. I just heard it. Okay. Audio's bugging.
There we go. Hey.
I bet you're happy.
I'm doing great. I'm doing
I bet
fantastic.
I bet you are. Son of a bitch. Look at that. Look at that.
Naylor jersey might be in the mail. Who knows?
We'll see. Yeah. They're making them already?
No.
No, I think you could do custom.
Probably,
you can go online and just do a blank one with a custom. All right. So what? Okay. So these 2 deals took place, what? 15 minutes in between each other?
10 minutes apart.
Yeah. So Carlos has been on a video call while they finalize a trade with the Diamondbacks. That's basically what happened. That, or he's standing there and they're like, "All right, cool, son, right here. Yeah, the trade went through." I mean, how do you feel, bud? What are we thinking as far as losing Christian Walker and gaining 1 year of Josh Naylor? I mean, I understand it's like technically like a rental, like we're just stalling things for another season, but I mean, do you think he's going to extend? Like, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, first I'm seeing how absolutely white I look right now on the screen. This is
It's funny. It's fine. It makes me look less.
There we go.
I'm
Yeah.
white, dude. Like you're down there, you get some sun. I don't. So,
Dude, I'm German, man. I've been in Germany, man. You think we get sun there? It's
well, you're back. You're
in
back
the summer, maybe. But
yeah.
first, obviously my end of the trade, getting Josh Naylor, awesome. Over 30 home runs last year, 100 RBI, nearly 250 batting average. Great player, great clubhouse guy by all accounts. Super great reputation. Super exciting. It's only a 1-year deal. So it's not like it's gonna fix things for a long time. You can't guarantee an extension unless it's like the Glass Now thing where it was like part of the trade. But
I probably would have felt
it's still exciting.
Yeah.
It's
a huge
Hazen
ad.
did this based on it being a 1-year rental, and he doesn't trade for 1-year rentals a lot. He came out right away and said there's still work to be done, which is exciting, right? You don't see that from Jerry DePoto right now. That's for sure.
All right. Chill. Just chill out a little bit. I was saying that before you came on. I was taking a look at like the D-backs. Actually, I was looking at Cleveland. I don't think they're done, but I mean, what are we looking at then for the Diamondbacks? Because actually, the Diamondbacks, I was like, these guys are set. Like your worst batting average is Corbin Carroll, who hit 22 home runs. That's like your least consistent batter on the team, and he's batting 231. Everybody else is performing better. Exactly. Like, what else are you gonna do? What else?
Closer,
you don't need to
DH.
Yeah, right. I guess, but I mean, I'd be fine with Pavin Smith. I mean, we talked about that on your last on again. Like, I'd be fine with him the way he was raking. And I mean, I understand it's only 158 plate appearances, or is it up? Yeah, it was plate appearances, and then he had 270. But he was hitting 3 home runs in one game. I'm cool with that. If I were you, but I mean, you got a guy that is 7 years younger than Christian Walker. He can hit. We know he can hit 30 plus home runs. He had 31 last year. I just don't know as a lefty if that wind tunnel thing played a factor, But right field's not too bad at Chase Field.
No, it is not.
So
he'll be just fine. Especially down the line, right? Those corners can get pretty tight.
They can. So. Yeah, they can. I saw a meme on X, and it was like I wonder if I could even find it, but it was like somebody just quoted. They said Josh Naylor right now, and it's like some gif of like a guy. He's just I just found it. Here, let me see if I can pull this up for you. It's worth taking a look at.
So after the trade went down, I sent to the Sports Illustrated guys and Jake, who obviously. I'll DM it to you.
It's just like, what's happening? I don't know. That was pretty funny.
There you go. He looks very similar. It's the same guy.
It's the same guy, just in different colors. You could Photoshop that.
I'm excited to have Naylor on the team. Naylor bombs are going to be great. The Diamondbacks, their social media team is great. They tweeted out a reel of absolute nukes that Naylor hit last year, and you can see that first one he hit in Colorado. Oh my goodness, I don't see Walker hitting those even. So the Walker signing to Houston, that one stung a little bit. Diamondbacks fans, I put out a little eulogy.
When you're using that Wario belly of yours with generating all that power in your swing, that the balls are going to fly off. His metrics are very
He's 5'11", 250 is what Naylor measures in. I checked
he will
his
literally bat his weight. It's great.
He is the 4th Canadian Diamondbacks player, Canadian born.
He's Canadian?
So he's Canadian. Both Naylor brothers.
Did not expect that. I got to hear him talk in an interview now, because that's just.
I don't think he sounds it. I'm pretty
No,
sure. I've
he
heard
doesn't
him.
have that
I heard
Tyler
him
O'Neill.
interview in spring training last year.
Yeah. It's I haven't heard any interviews with him, but I think he'll like it in Arizona. I think he'll do well there. I mean, he probably saw this coming too. 1 year left. That's a straight up. I mean, unless they're going to extend him, but they probably, the way they've been dealing, they've been trying to cut the Guardians. So, yeah,
it's not like he was going to stick around. He pretty much he knew he was getting traded.
makes me wonder
it's
if
pretty clear.
makes me wonder what's going to happen with Bo. I mean, be like, hey,
Bo Naylor,
you got to go
dude,
get my
they have
little
plenty
brother.
of control.
Yeah, I know.
Plenty of control on Naylor, and he's an exciting young catcher too. But
I hope he does better
it sucks.
than last year.
It's great that they got to play together at all, right? That's something that not every major leaguer who are brothers get to do. It happened with the Lowe brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Lowe.
Josh Lowe, yeah.
And with the Naylors, obviously. So
it's a rare occurrence.
there was a scenario where the Gurriel brothers might have, if we had to pivot to him at some point, Yuli. But I'm glad that didn't happen.
He's still available right now.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, it's like him and I mean, if you were to pick him up, you might as well get like Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a great move for the Diamondbacks. I mean, I a little sting on the Comp B draft pick, but not too much of a loss pitching. Yeah, you guys are okay there. I think this is one of those like fair trades. You know what I mean? Like, especially since you saw the outcome of what they did after the fact. It was immediate, so it's very easy to react to this and be like, okay, cool. That works for the Guardians.
Guardians save money. They used that money to get Santana, veteran guy, still a 1 year deal. And Santana put up better defensive numbers. He mashes against lefties.
Yeah.
And Kyle Manzardo, he wasn't going to play against lefties anyway. So it works out, if they want to do some kind of platoon situation there, if they want to get Manzardo some DH days against righties.
Yeah.
They got a lot of options now, and Naylor was going to eat up all of that time that Manzardo was going to see. As a left-handed first baseman, there's not a lot of – and that's something that we're going to see with Pavin Smith here too. I really hope that we get to see Pavin get a longer leash here. We heard it from Hazen in the winter meetings. And I'm a big Pavin Smith guy too. The underlying numbers were legit. We talked about him last time.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see how this roster is going to shake up. Mike Hazen is not done. He's just getting started. Mike Hazen does not settle with his roster. If he sees that there's even the slightest amount of like improvement that can be done, a player like if we shuffle these things around, we can get a little bit better. We can get maybe 1 win, 2 wins better. He's going to go out and do that. He's going to find that move.
Do you think that's going to start with Montgomery getting moved?
I'm not sure if it starts there, but it definitely could end up there. I think it starts with finding a back-end reliever or somebody that can help fill that DH position. Last year, the Diamondbacks had the third best DH spot in all of baseball, right behind Shohei Ohtani and Marcell Ozuna. It doesn't get much better than that, right? Between Grichuk and Peterson, it was incredible. And right now we're looking at the DH spot. I bet that it shifts to Pavin Smith as the projected DH right now.
That's what it says on Fangraphs right now. And I trust they're pretty accurate. They typically get it pretty nailed down. No pun intended. Naylor nailed down. Yeah. And then your boy, Max Kepler, is going to Philly. So that's, I don't know why I knew they weren't going to extend him because it seems like Minnesota is just going to crumble. Yeah. Everything about them is sell now. I know they're like, I would think we're going to keep Correa. I know think we're going to keep Buxton and Lewis, but it's like they're selling like at this point.
Yep.
you should be cutting payroll. Say, hey, this is your projected revenue, and this is what your overhead is, and then let them figure it out. But the fact that they didn't bring, he was there 10 years?
Yeah, 10 seasons. I followed Kepler pretty closely, right?
Yeah.
Only German-born active MLB player. Little fanboyish here from me there.
A little farther than
even
Canada.
though, yeah, a little further than Canada, but even though he is on the Phillies and the Phillies aren't exactly best buds with the Diamondbacks, I'm going to be rooting for Kepler individually that he succeeds.
I wonder how much playing time he's going to get, because they have
starter.
A lot of outfielders.
He's a starter.
They already announced that?
Dombrowski said he's a starting outfielder. Starting outfield's going to go Kepler in left, Marsh in center, and it's going to be Castellanos in right. And they pretty much went out and said that is pretty much their finalized roster. There could be some shuffling around there from the Phillies, but
so Rojas is going to be riding the bench. I haven't paid too much attention to the Phillies. They've been relatively quiet. Besides, obviously, their trade offers for Bohm, which are always like
the most absurd things ever, like Mason Miller for Alec Bohm. Right?
Yeah. Well,
and then I had Phillies fans defending it. They were like, an unproven injury risk reliever for a proven third baseman. And I'm like, dude,
a single season
Mason Miller, he has like a million years of control left. Just watch this kid pitch one game and you'll see why the A's hung up the phone and blocked Dave Dombrowski's number.
It's ridiculous. It's and it's funny because it's like New York got a little bit high on their own supply, the Yankees, with like their deals that they were able to break with with the Cubs, and I think they thought, oh, we can do this again. So they offered, what was it, Stroman for Bohm or Stroman for crap. I posted this. I should have.
They offered Stroman for,
and I
as well.
I did a laugh emoji. I think you liked it. On my page. Yeah. Oh, for Arenado.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Cardinals hung up.
I mean, Marcus Stroman for Arenado. Are you kidding me?
No way.
He was terrible last year.
Not only that, but the Cardinals want to shed payroll. They don't want to take on more of it. Yeah. They had a deal that they were happy with sending him to the Astros, but even then they would have lost the majority of that money, right? They weren't taking on a big salary in exchange. Well, speaking of, what is Houston doing, man? I mean, they're a worse team than before, but they got Walker. They took on that salary. They're paying about $38 million in first baseman this year alone between Abreu and Walker. Paredes is there. He's going to be a Crawford box merchant. Their outfield is what really intrigues me here, right? They lost Tucker. They still have McCormick.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
He was pretty horrible last year. But the year before he was great. So who are you gonna get?
211.
Is Jordan gonna be in left field? How often are they gonna play him there? Really, they just need guys.
They have Taylor Trammell. I mean, Mauricio Dubon, he wasn't bad at all. He didn't slug much, but 269 average, and that's with 428 plate appearances. So, I mean, Fangraphs has him on the bench, but I would see him over Taylor Trammell. At least that's just me. But yeah, I don't know what Houston's doing, but I also think
they'll always figure it out.
Well, they figure it out, or they find players and they just get lucky with them. I mean, Jordan was lucky when they picked him up and he turned into a sensation.
Okay,
they didn't expect that to happen. That was way back.
That's a
when,
big one.
obviously.
That's a big one.
But like
That's
the Dodgers
different from last year, though, for
messed
sure.
up. Yeah. Of course, I'm just kind of throwing. They find ways to make it work. Jake Myers, he was good towards the end of the season, but not really throughout the season. I mean, I don't know, man. Houston's weird like that. The fact that they got Christian Walker, that stabbed me in the heart as well. Because I would rather Christian Walker could have gone to any team, and I would have been like, all right, but Houston, oh, that shit bothers me. But I'm trying to think, like, yeah, their outfield is a little bit choppy. They have guys, but they're just not. None of them are big names, and I think with Christian Walker coming in, Bragy's for sure not coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
No, he's gone.
Jordan's got to be permanent DH. He's just it's just be a bad idea to put him in the outfield, unless you're super desperate. But I don't see any reason to do so. And they still have John Singleton, and Caratini wasn't bad either last year. So
yeah, he's a backup. But
yeah,
Yainer Diaz is going to be. I mean, his back.
Yeah, he's too good. Yeah. He's too good. But Caratini can take over.
Pena kept taking steps back offensively, but his defense is excellent.
Yeah, he took a little bit of a dip. He's still his numbers are not bad.
I can see him break out a little bit more next year. I don't think that that what we saw from him in the playoffs was a complete fluke, but maybe he overperformed a little bit.
He's 27. He's gonna be 28, I guess, next season. Something mid-season next season. They need pitching. I can tell you that. And there's still the talks about Valdez getting moved.
I believe that Houston came out and was telling teams that they were going to keep Valdez.
Oh, really? How long does he have on this contract? Curious on that.
He's a rental, I believe.
Doesn't make sense why they would hold on to him, though. Like, you could get
Deadline
a big return for him.
Yeah,
but you get way more now. And
not necessarily. Sometimes teams get desperate at the trade deadline, and that's when they're willing to fork up a little bit more for that extra help.
There's some desperate teams right now, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Some real desperate teams. Or actually, I should take that statement back because I would say my team is desperate.
Mariners are a desperate team.
I don't think they're desperate. I think they don't give a fuck.
They do. They do give a crap.
I like you censoring yourself. That's nice. But no, I don't think they care. Like there seems to be zero effort. They show zero effort. Let's just put it that way. They conceal their effort. Fantastic. It's like they've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing. And there's quite a few teams out there. I understand they haven't done much. Nats are one. That's another one that I think people are extremely confused on because the Nationals
might get Alonso. If you think about it.
Yeah, at this point, they have the money. They need somebody in the clubhouse, a strong, but will he want to go there?
Maybe. I'm not necessarily too familiar on Alonso's market and his mentality.
I know he wants a long. Supposedly, he wants a 6-year. He wants a 6-year deal.
Yeah, if a team had the time and money to do it, right now the Nats are definitely one of them. I know I saw another report that came out saying that the Mets were still in play for Bregman. I'd say if they do end up sticking in those sweepstakes, then Alonso probably won't be returning. But with Steve Cohen, I don't want to say anything for sure. I don't want to put anything on the record.
Well, it makes me wonder if the so I was just reading the Red Sox in hot pursuit of Bregman. I don't know.
That is incredible. I would love that move for them.
I think it would be great, but I don't know how accurate that is. Sorry, we were mentioning Pete Alonso. Oh, there's a bunch of people talking about it. It's in that beta thing. Let's see here. It's one of those the AI things based on the tens of thousands of reports on it. Let's see. Is it Daniel Judge report? I don't know him. So highly likely to acquire free agent third baseman Bregman. Let's see. Who is this person? Writer for The Athletic. Oh no, he's okay. No, it's parody. Never mind. I just want to see. You gotta look at these.
You gotta double check because the sources I trust up in Boston is Alex Spire and Chris Cotillo. I don't want to pronounce that wrong, but great writers. Boston has some good dudes up there that do media work. It's good market. You know, I'd love to go back up there someday, but
yeah, I had a
you know, maybe when the D-backs go to visit, right?
Yeah, you should go travel with them, go hang out with the players, get their info, and you know, get their vibes and report on that. Get all buddy, and then you could start doing Jeff Passan work for the D-backs. You're like,
well, Passan's a beast. Passan's on another level.
Yeah, I don't know how he figures it out, but he's managed to make it happen. But we were talking Pete Alonso. That was my point. I wonder if ownership, because it's not just Steve Cohen, you know, it's an ownership group, but like
I wonder majority owner.
He's majority, but like are the rest of the, you know, minority owners going to be like, hey, like slow down, like chill out a little bit?
If he's putting his own money in, you know, at this point, they've already surpassed the revenue that they're making.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. It's like if
there's a lot of out-of-pocket stuff, and especially with the luxury tax, they're paying dollar for dollar on every penny they spend.
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting. I think Alonso should go back to the Mets, but I don't know if they can or if they will at this point, and if at the same, I don't know. It'd be crazy if we saw Bregman go to Boston, because then Cassis is really a big question mark for them. Because Denver's he's got to go to first, and I don't think he's a good idea to move to DH. Because I was talking to Gordo, and he's with, I mentioned this earlier on the stream, because I did a whole segment, the Baseball Chaos, with him and Colby Patnode from Locked On, and he so we were talking about like the trade talks and all this stuff. I'm going to post that probably tomorrow. I have to put it off because now I'm doing this live stream, but he was mentioning like when Devers is not playing on the field, like his bat lacks. So knowing that, and you were to get Breggy, unless Bregman is willing to go to first, like Arenado has said he's willing to.
You don't want to move Bregman to first,
exactly,
with that level of defense. Bregman's a great defender,
but what I love
with Bregman is if you think about ballparks that have a left field that aids right-handed hitters that pull the ball, you think Houston and you think Boston, right? That big wall, he would be a doubles machine. He would pull fly balls and knock him over the monster, right? I mean, you'd
almost say that he's like
he's
like an Isaac Paredes perfect fit.
Well, that's pretty much what Houston did. They replaced Bregman with Paredes.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just saying, like if the Red Sox were to picked him up, but I mean, instead it's like, all right, well, we'll take the better option that you guys aren't going to sign back, but. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, because like I've been surprised. I can put that out there. I've been surprised.
Off-season throws you curveballs, man. That's
this has been
every time.
It's gonna be a wild 2025, because it's a majority of that's the thing. Majority of these teams are not going to look familiar. Majority of these teams are going to look a lot different, because most of the big names that we talked about last season, it's like they knew they were all going to be on free agency, or they're on their last year and they're going to get moved, because they are the ones that everybody was kind of talking about. Like Christian Walker, even though he was injured, like he was the big name. Then going into this offseason, now he's going to be on another team, and you're like, all right. then Breggy, I know he was injured along with Kyle Tucker, but they were the big names still for Houston, even through their struggles. When they finally came back, it was productive, and now they're gone. So it's like 2025 is just going to be a very different reality than what we saw last year. And if anything, the D-backs are relatively similar, but
yeah, there's like 3 spots that they're going to end up changing, but other than that, they hold pat, right? They picked up Suarez's option,
which was smart.
You know, very smart.
No other third baseman that you can replace him with.
Yeah,
there's
and
nobody else.
He'd probably go for more and more years on the market. 12 million, 12 million, no brainer.
Yeah.
30 homers, 100 RBI, near 300 batting average. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
that's like Josh Naylor at a premium defensive position playing Gold Glove defense, and a fantastic clubhouse guy. Like, I'm taking that.
I'm surprised. How much is Naylor's 1-year contract?
I'm not actually sure, but I would recommend to everyone to go read Jack Summers' story on it on Diamondbacks on SI. I believe it'll probably say it in there.
14.2 million.
Yeah, 14.2 million.
Why didn't Arizona?
Well, he's actually
Santana
arbitration. Naylor. He is estimated to earn 12 million. In 2025.
Oh, are they covering? Some?
No, he's arbitration eligible. That's what ARB hasn't been done yet. So.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Well, either way, is going to be more. I'm surprised the D-backs didn't go and get Santana because they could have saved money.
Santana's not quite the pop, and no, Santana signed for 1 year, 12 million. He's 11 years older.
I get it. He's older, but production-wise,
for 1 year, defense,
and he didn't have to give anything up.
Naylor hit 31 home runs, 100 RBI. He's got the track record. I mean, Santana is the king of track record, but I imagine that this was a deal that the Diamondbacks wanted to make, and there's actually some reports that I saw while we were on this show here from John Gambadoro saying, well, first of all, something that Mariners fans need to learn too, people just needed to be patient, and you need to be patient because something is going to happen eventually, right? Something. I'm not sure if you'll be happy about it, but something's going to happen. This deal came together when Walker signed with Houston. Because Walker got over 50 million, Arizona got a pick after the first round instead of after the second round. Had he signed for less than that, that's a big deal because they did trade that comp round B pick along with Ciccone, who the Guardians are going to fix, but he wasn't gonna do too much more for the Diamondbacks there. I feel like he just couldn't figure it out. It's a great trade. Also says that Cleveland really liked Ciccone, and that they were kind of connected throughout the offseason.
Man. I mean,
I would also not be surprised if the Diamondbacks picked up more than one decently sized reliever piece this offseason.
Who's left? That's a good question.
Pete Fairbanks, Ryan Helsley potentially, but the Cardinals are kind of holding on with their claws digging.
I thought they held off. Are they waiting for like some sort of trade for Arenado that might include?
There's conflicting reports.
Yeah,
very conflicting reports on what it's like, but the overwhelming sentiment is that they want to hold on to Helsley. On the reliever free agent market, though, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, AJ Minter is one that I like.
Kenley
Not as a
Jensen,
closer, but
if you want an old guy.
Kenley Jensen, if we're talking about old guys like Santana, yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
But how much
yeah,
are
Pete
how much are they going to be
Fairbanks makes
willing
a
to
lot of
pay?
sense.
How much are the Diamondbacks going to be willing to pay on a reliever? Because like we mentioned this when you were on, like Tanner Scott's at like market value is like 16 mil. That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't think they'll quite go to Tanner Scott, but the trade pieces certainly would make sense.
Yeah, Kirby
Diamondbacks,
Kirby
especially
for
because they
Hoffman.
didn't have to give up very much to get Naylor. They have a lot of assets that they could use to get a reliever.
Buck Farmer, go get him.
You know, seventh inning guy, sure.
Yeah,
Sixth inning.
Or
No.
Carlos Estevez.
Estevez, that's one I forgot.
Yeah.
He'd be, you know, I could certainly see that, and he's not going to be super out of the Diamondbacks price range.
Well, they have projected him at 14.
14, I think it's almost
seems
doable
high.
because they didn't have to pay 20 to a first baseman. So
It's doable, but do you want to spend that much on one guy in your bullpen? At that
maybe.
point, go get Taylor. Go get Tanner Scott for a couple more. You know, I mean, it depends on the length of the contract, obviously.
The thing is, Tanner Scott and AJ Puck, who the Diamondbacks already have, are very similar.
Yeah.
You know, which could be a good and a bad thing, right? Diamondbacks already have 3 potential lefty options in their bullpen: Kyle Nelson, Joe Mantiply, and Puck.
Mhm.
They also have flamethrowing righty Justin Martinez, who I'd assume they are grooming him to be a closer after whatever move they make does happen. Yeah. So, you know, I'm definitely excited to see what they do. Relievers, something the Diamondbacks have always had to fix. Pretty much, you know, the closer role, whether it's Mark Melancon, that contract that was an absolute disaster, or you know, Paul Sewald, who was awesome in 23 and then not so awesome in 24. It's just a revolving door at this point. It's like Defense Against the Dark Arts in Harry Potter, right? It's
you're a little outside my realm of knowledge there.
every year it gets switched out.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think we have somebody else that might join in. And I'm sorry, Brandon, I haven't been reading the comments. We've been going back and forth.
No, I didn't even know it was live. That's cool.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah. Yeah, so you can't you'd have to self-censor. I said, how long was it that we got news 2 years ago? Are you talking about? That's not Garver, man. I am not sure what you're asking. I know that was a while ago, so I apologize, but I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Yeah, I think we might have somebody else joining us on this, which might be full of hysteria or calm rage. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm guessing that means Mariners.
I mean, majority of the guys I know are, I have you, I have Sam Ulber with the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
I have Gordo with the Red Sox. I mean, these are my contacts, and I haven't had them on yet, but also Connor Newcomb with the Orioles. Those are my contacts, and that's about it. So if someone's coming on, majority of them are going to be Mariners. So, and then right now, this is a rough day for baseball, especially if you're in Seattle. We lost Ricky Henderson.
Oh yeah, that
sucks. That really
one of the
sucks.
Worst. You know,
and I don't know how.
One of my favorite players ever.
Yeah.
Pneumonia. Pneumonia, apparently.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that
passed away in Oakland. He was healthy a couple months ago, or healthy appearing.
Well, he was on MLB Network not that long ago. It's like,
you never know.
God. You would expect something like that to be easily taken care of, and someone of that caliber, like well known throughout the city, you go to a hospital because something's not right, they're gonna be like, this is Ricky Anderson. Like we need to make sure that we get everything out of his lungs, make sure he can breathe. That blows my mind. And that sucks. That really does suck. And then for PNW peeps, the rest of it is just kind of super, super shitty. All right. Well, I don't know if you can see him, but he's going to join us.
What's up,
TJ?
Chris?
There we go. Hey.
All right. Yeah. See that face that he has right now? That is how everybody in Seattle feels. Yeah. This is like.
My face is a little different right now.
I know. And that's why I had you on, because I needed some positivity on this stream. It's so.
I'd be positive even if I wasn't feeling great. I'm trying to have a good outlook on the off season in general.
I'm out of energy to be like angry at anything because I just kind of feel like it's feels like a waste of energy to me. But I mean, it just feels like we're rolling down the scenario of a worst case, at least at first base. Second and third, just kind of it was gonna be tough to begin with.
It was gonna be.
We had the markets at those two positions are just so weak. Yeah. But at first base, I mean, there were realistic options. Like if you had to settle for Carlos Santana, like okay, like it is something. But now you go down the list, it's not great. If you're gonna hear optimism from me, you're probably not right now. Like there are options still out there, but not quite as many options where you're actually upgrading. Yandy Diaz could still be available. That would be nice. Just kind of
Passon made a post earlier outlining some trade candidates that are out there, and notably he left out Yandy Diaz, which I'm not sure if that means anything, but it's the Rays and they're kind of tearing it down and they're playing at a spring training field next year, so
they're not going to lose him for nothing. So he's going to be on the block, if not right this second. Eventually, he will be. Yeah. Well, even at his age, I think it would work.
White Sox. The Rays are like the White Sox. They don't ever make a trade unless it's going to be a big return. They're pretty good on that. I was surprised with Randy, but I think they still got a good return.
At least with the Rays, you could trade prospects, which I think is a big hindrance of this offseason and the expanded playoff. No one wants prospects.
Yeah.
If more teams wanted prospects, the Mariners would feel very comfortable. But I'm guessing no one really around baseball outside of the White Sox and they traded Crochet is interested in prospects at all. Which, it's fun having a good farm system. It certainly helps your depth, and especially in the next 365 days or so, I think that's really going to pay off for the M's. But they can't use it to acquire talent right now.
Yeah, it's a big thing right now where nobody wants to trade for prospects, and that's there's so many teams that are in this competitive window, or at least think that they're in a competitive window, that look at the bad teams, the truly bad teams. They don't have anything you want. I mean, what do you want from the Rockies right now? So it's
Ryan McMahon, maybe,
but he doesn't. They're not dealing
a definitive upgrade.
They've said they don't want to trade him. And they made some kind of agreement with McMahon himself that he wasn't going to get traded last year, at least. So it's he's kind of the one guy.
The Naylor thing's really interesting. The Mariners must have not felt comfortable parting with their some combination of one of their minor league pitchers or the 30th pick, because I think that was about the price. It was a young arm with a lot of control and good stuff. And I think the pick was like in the 70s. So the Mariners had to offer, it would have been either Emerson Hancock, who I don't think would, as much as I love Emerson, I don't think he's valued more than the kid Arizona gave up.
Ciccone,
yeah. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name. He throws hard though, and he pitched really well against the M's this year.
Super Italian. It's Ciccone. I don't know.
If you look at his overall velocity rankings, that doesn't even paint a clear picture, because he was used as a swing man almost for a lot of the year, starter to begin with, and his velo was kind of not so high there. But when they transitioned him to the bullpen at the end of the year, he was touching 99 to 100 in AAA. He is a good slider. He has some good stuff, and if he figures a thing or two out, which I'm sure he will in Cleveland, there's going to be a big return there for them.
They have
And I
good
think
pitching
that
development there too, so I can see it happening.
they
I
do.
feel like
And
that.
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I'll hit on it in a second.
I did see some stuff. They did really like him, and I'm sure there is a lot to like. There's a lot to work with when you have a profile like that. Again, when you can get a player like that for 1 year of a first baseman, you would do it. Especially if you're in the Guardian sense, you don't want to pay Josh Naylor in the future. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Mariners could have overpaid that package if they really wanted to. It felt like, I can't for the life of me understand why they couldn't beat that package. Whether it be they weren't interested in Naylor enough to feel like he was worth an overpay, whether they were comfortable giving up like a Logan Evans or Brandon Garcia. That's an answer I don't have. I'm stumped on that one.
Yeah, I still have this perspective that maybe the Guardians knew they played. I think they played us a little bit, because if you think about all the reports that came out, both of these guys were on the radar for the Mariners, at least as far as Mariners showing interest. Mariners are talking to Santana. They're trying to negotiate. They're trying to acquire Naylor, and magically, oh, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna cut him off. We're gonna offer what we know the Mariners won't offer Santana. I don't think the Mariners were ever gonna offer him $12 million for a single year.
Probably not.
That's all of their budget pretty much, and that's just not a smart move. So I can see that, but yeah, the Naylor thing, like you said, it's like I don't understand how they couldn't have beat that offer unless there is just this. I mean, this would just be petty. I don't think it's accurate, but I mean, they're just like, we'd rather deal to a National League team. I mean,
that could be an option. They could have had a few guys picked out they would have been willing to trade Josh Naylor for, and Slade could have been one of them.
Yeah,
they really liked Slade.
They did.
I'm sure, yeah. And especially because they didn't need to trade Josh Naylor at this point. They already shedded the salary they wanted to this year to even out.
Yeah.
So it was only going to be if they were going to be meaningfully better, and I would assume they feel like they are meaningfully better after that.
That was a winning lottery ticket with Jimenez or Jimenez. Jimenez, may I say it right?
Jimenez.
Yeah. Jimenez. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that they got, Toronto to take his full salary, that was a lottery ticket that they won.
And then getting Luis Ortiz back as well.
Just in that little trifecta. Yeah, their bullpen or their rotation's looking really good right now. But yeah, man, this is just a rough day for Seattle, and Twitter was blowing up. Like I know that Joe and Colton are they're premiering some video, which is probably them losing their minds. I don't know how Lyle's handling this. He's probably
he just posted our reaction to it. He wasn't I don't know anyone who could be, at least from the fans' perspective. There might be some media members who know a little bit more and understand about this stuff
Divish seemed
to understand it
calm
more.
Divish's post, he's just like, oh yeah, looks like a good deal for.
Well, Divish has managed to separate himself from the fan perspective in a big way. So
Yeah, he has.
It's not like he's going to lose it.
I think he's in Montana.
I'll be honest,
right
though.
now.
I don't think there's any reason for fans to be anything but sort of upset about how the first base market has played out. Like we understood, we did understand what they needed at first base. They said first base was going to be the position they target in free agency, and all the options except Peter off the board. And to be honest, Pete Alonso's not coming to Seattle. I don't think he has any interest in coming to Seattle. The Mariners aren't going to pay him what he wants either. So it's like it's two sides who aren't really interested in anything. So that's a pipe dream you can't even have.
So it's like Yandy in a trade or bringing back Justin Turner,
who has not been linked to the Mariners at all.
Well, he hasn't been linked to anybody though. I haven't heard a word about him.
Turner's interesting. He could just retire if he wanted to, because I think it sounded like he wants to go back down to Southern California. So that literally leaves the Dodgers, who have a first baseman, an old first baseman, that is. And then the Padres. Would he sign with the Padres? That's a good question.
If they Luis Rise flip and then sign Turner, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if
but I'm not sure that makes sense for the Padres.
Yeah, so someone DM'd us suggesting the Mariners trade for Luis Ariz. I'm like, oh.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll push back on that. I want to be.
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to really feel like, and this is more desperation, most likely coming from me. But should we just start embracing the slap hitting persona based on our park? And I know that's a dumb question that has a 2% chance of working out. But like, what if we had an Ichiro
it's not a dumb
Suzuki
question.
style?
I don't think it's dumb. I think there's a balance at this point for what the park is. I just wouldn't take like a high volume of contact and instantly make it a super productive big league player. Because Luis Ariz has, like, he had a ton of hits this last year, but he wasn't really even one of the most productive first basemen in baseball. When you have a first baseman and he doesn't hit for power and he doesn't walk, that takes away almost all of his value. Oh, and no defensive value either. So
or base running value.
It's only one
tool guy.
Yeah.
And when you only have one tool, even if you do it really well, it really just limits
I love
what
him.
you can do.
I love him at the 7 hole and put him at second.
9 hole.
Whatever. Nah, I'll take. You know what?
I don't think he can play 9. Second anymore.
Is he injured? I don't see any injuries. Has he? Has he
been
injured?
Yeah, he had a thumb, like a bad thumb injury that he was playing through. It hurt him every time to swing the bat at the end of last year. He had to get surgery in the offseason.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah, he had surgery.
He also he also doesn't really fit on the Mariners roster because they already have a left-hander they want playing first.
Yeah.
Not going to have 2 of those guys, I don't think.
And
especially not adding anything else onto the roster besides standing there and making a bunch of contact.
I guess I just like Ariz. That's just me. I mean, I see where you're coming from. Like, yeah, it makes complete sense. But it's like, man, I do like someone who just can get on base. Like, yeah, maybe our numbers will go up for left on base percentage, which sucks. But like, at least we'd have somebody on base.
Ariz would have been great if they traded for him when the Padres traded for him last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it would have been great. Right now, though, the way the roster is.
Doesn't make sense.
Based how he's moved around, where his defensive value is, or lack of value.
And on top of that, how much does he cost? Like, what's his?
I don't think he costs that much.
No,
he's not super expensive. I think one of the reasons why I really don't like Ariz at all is because I had to, in the middle of last year, write story after story defending Ketel Marte to start over Luis Ariz at second base in the All-Star game, which is like. Who was
last year?
Yeah, that was a real race, and it was close. So
I think that was like hangover effects from his 2023 batting title.
Yeah,
vibe,
but
and he's making 13.7 mil. So never mind.
13 mil. Yeah, at that point, go get Santana.
I'm gonna be honest that he's a little overpaid.
Yeah, that's way too much. I thought he was gonna be like a 9, 8, but. I don't know what to do at this point. I mean, I would feel better if Jerry just came out and said, we've been working with Luke, and we're really confident that he's going to be good defensively at first, and he's going to be our first baseman. And it's like, okay.
At this rate, that is what he's going to say in February.
And it's like, okay, but stop talking to all these first basemen. And then just shitting on it because it's not winning the fans over right now. Like, there needs to be something going on that's more than they're in talks with. There's a rumor of, because it's like, I feel like they're not going to pull the trigger, and I don't really know what the plan is at this point because
the battle, I think, is already lost.
Especially
for this
today.
offseason. In that perspective, I do feel like the battle is like, if it's not lost, it's trending that direction quickly because unless they sign Alex Bregman, which it doesn't really feel like they're going to do. There is not something that people would believe when they say it makes them seriously better.
Offer him 8 years, 120 mil or something like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know what just to make it work. But no, I don't think so either. But like, that's probably the max that the Mariners could probably offer. But it's like, what is like I should, and I said this at the beginning, they're probably not going to sign anybody like free, like you guys mentioned, and you guys made a bunch of videos about this. Free agents is just not a good strategy. So
Well,
I'm
it
starting
hasn't
to,
been for them because no one wants to come to Seattle for a
Yeah.
number of reasons.
yeah, and it showed
though
pretty glaring last season.
Even though it's their job to make it look more desirable, but they haven't been able to do that. It's been just Robbie Ray.
Yeah, who was hurt.
Like free agents in general don't want to come there. Pitching is more attractive, obviously.
Yeah.
But they can't pay them, and the Mariners front office, with what they've done in free agency and trades, how are you going to make it look like you have a plan of what you want to do and how you're going to make the team better and push for a competitive window here?
And we talked about it a little bit.
Go ahead,
Chad. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's just real quick, but I mean, if I were them at this point, I would sign the top pitchers because that's appealing to them. Spend that money. Of course, spending money is just an eye roll at this point. But if they were, you can easily flip them. Yeah, you have control. This is the contract. Now we need bats. So no one's going to freely sign here. Well, we're going to go get you.
And the one top guy that's the Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns is going to be out of their price range again.
Yeah.
But I mean, Roki is still out there. We don't know that
That's gonna hurt.
He's taken some meetings right now. We have no idea whether or not Roki is going to invite the Mariners to a meeting because it sounds like he's the one setting his meetings with teams, not the teams
In
that are
LA.
just lining up and getting one if they want one. It's not guaranteed. And we haven't seen any reports of that, even though the Mariners felt pretty confident about that. That's the last option there. I think the other thing about the free agent things is they've signed now. We talked about this on our episode that came out yesterday. They've given out now 2 long-term deals to pitchers, and they are one Luis Castillo trade away from trading both of them prior to them getting halfway through the contract.
Yeah.
That's not a great sell for free agents to come and settle in Seattle because under this regime, they'd have to worry about getting traded. Free agents don't want to do that.
Yeah. It's just not a good look. It's a bad day to be live streaming, but I was just raging and I needed to talk it out. And luckily I was able to snag you guys to kind of put some sense into all of this. And especially Diamondbacks perspective, that's the positive one that I wanted to throw out. Cause I mean, hey, you guys won. You guys got yourself Josh Naylor. That's awesome. You got a replacement for Christian Walker, and I'm going to start buying more gear for the Diamondbacks at this point. I don't know. I put this out on Twitter as well. The day before Christian Walker signed with Houston, I had gotten his jersey, signed jersey.
Yikes.
And I was like, it was a good deal. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, I'm going to have this. He'll end up somewhere. I don't think it's going to be the Mariners, but you know what? I still like it. And then of course he signs with Houston. And I'm just like, okay. All right. It hasn't even arrived yet. And I'm just like, what the hell? What am I going to do with this thing?
The last 2 days, I've been just sadly looking at this Christian Walker card from the B game walk-off, which is, great memory.
Play Sad World in the background while listening, while looking at that. And then, you have Josh Naylor now. So there you go. You have some positive, man. The team's not in a bad spot for you guys.
And they're going to make moves. Mike Hazen, straight quote, word for word, said, if I'm going to say word for word, I got to have the quote.
You got to read it.
We're just getting started, right? There's a lot left to do. It's going to be a hell of a ride for the Diamondbacks still this offseason. They have to get a closer. And you probably have to get 1 or 2 guys to fill out the lineup. If you want a platoon at DH still, get Jock Peterson. But he feels like a ring.
About him. Yeah, I forgot about him. It's crazy. I just can't. I keep shaking my head because it's like, all right, maybe 2026 at this point. I don't want to just count them out, but maybe they'll surprise me. Jerry always does something wild. Maybe he'll do something on Christmas, exactly on Christmas when nobody's paying
They'll do
attention.
something. I just don't know if it's going to make everyone happy.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
I know they can't help themselves.
If they don't sign Roki, I mean, is that the last straw?
And the thing with Roki is he's not a guaranteed thing. I said this on Jake's show the other day, is like, not only like the ball is different, and that's the big concern for me. He had some issues with it during the World Baseball Classic when they had to use the American ball. Not getting the right grip. You have to grip a lot harder when you're throwing. And not only does that make your pitches move differently and give you a different feel for the ball, but you're putting yourself at risk of fatiguing the muscles around your UCL quicker, but putting yourself at significant risk of developing an elbow injury. And for a hard thrower like that, a young kid, that's not something that you know is going to feel great. You can't associate an elbow injury with him. That's not fair to do, but
I bet you
got to think about.
I bet you he's the domino, because they are considering that. They are thinking about that if that was for the Mariners to go. Like they're not pulling a trigger until they know they have Roki. If they have Roki, they're probably not going to get rid of Castillo because they want that 6th man. But if they can't get him, then it's like that's that desperate move of like, we got to do something, because
just depends if he's interested.
Yeah, and the fact that he's just hanging out in LA, everybody has to fly to him. It's like, all right, what are we doing? Is the small market team the Angels? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't.
No.
Exactly. So,
could just be a lot of talk.
Could be.
We'll see. Because the teams he's been taking meetings with have not been small market.
No, none of it.
The ones we know
Cubs,
of right now, I
Yankees.
think, are Phillies,
Cubs, Mets,
I assume Dodgers.
Phillies did not. Phillies were left off the table.
Oh, yeah. I know the Mets and Yankees did.
Mets, Yankees, Cubs.
The two biggest.
That's the three.
Those are, the 2 of the 3 biggest cities.
3 probably biggest markets besides, LA, obviously.
And they're meeting him at Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers
That's not true, but that's funny. That'd be funny if that was the
Meeting
case.
in
Like,
LA.
they're meeting.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. Thanks for having me on.
For sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
CJ. See ya.
Nice to see you. All right.
So, all right, I've been on for an hour and a half. You guys have buried my whining and bitching.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, I got to eat some food. I haven't ate today, and honestly, I'm not even hungry right now. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me on the live stream. If you're watching this afterwards, leave your comments down below. I will have another video for you guys probably tomorrow, which was pre-recorded, which kind of talks about Boston. That's still alive, the deal there. But we'll talk why we probably think it's dead, but a little bit more in depth of what could pop off, because there is something there. It's just a matter of both sides coming to an agreement. But as for today, Cleveland won, Arizona won, Seattle lost.
Yankees won.
Did they?
Goldschmidt.
Oh, was that today or was that yesterday?
Mm-hmm. That was this morning.
That was this morning. Yankees won. Well, yeah, I still thought he was going to go to Arizona. I figured that was a good homecoming, but it's only 1 year. It's only 1 year. How much was that contract?
14.
1 year. 14?
I think.
Yeah.
14 or 16? Something like that.
Something along those lines. Yeah. So, all right. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, comment down below. I'm going to try to get a giveaway set up as long as I get enough videos out to you guys. In this depressing mode of the holidays, most people will not be recording. But you know what? I probably will. So you have some content to watch. Hit the bell for notification, and you're going to mute it. Is that what you said?
No, it was 12.5 million. I was way off.
Okay. Wow. So basically Santana's deal. Wow.
Yeah.
It's impressive. So, thanks, Aaron, for jumping on last minute on this and
appreciate it
and talking.
Read Diamondbacks on SI. Look it up. We make great content.
Go read his articles. Follow him on Twitter. If you guys are watching on Twitter currently, you can just hop over there and check him out. And yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Sad day.